Thank you for coming in for another episode of Off the Clock, which is, this little episode here, which I've turned these 15-minute clips to something I like to call What's the Deal with Deal. And today the deal is Detroit sports. Detroit sports. Gotta give big respect for Detroit sports. I'm going to take this toast for Detroit sports, Detroit Tigers, Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, and Detroit Red Wings. This is a toast to y'all. And like I was saying with the Detroit sports in these last couple of years have really come up, because Detroit's nickname in the sports world used to be City of Champions because we've had a championship in every major sport. I mean, except for the Super Bowl with the Detroit Lions, but we had before the Super Bowl there was championships. Detroit Lions used to always win the championships. We got a shitload of, a few World Series, by the Tigers. We got a few NBA championships with the Pistons. Got a lot of championships with the Red Wings. The Red Wings are even coming up. Even the bridge they're building a new bridge that's about to connect Detroit to Canada. We got one, the Ambassador Bridge, but they're about to get another one there in construction with another one right now called Gordie Howe. And we all know, if you know anything about sports, just a little bit about sports in Detroit. Gordie Howe was a great hockey player. Not only was he a great hockey player, but he was a Canadian that played for the Detroit Red Wings. So hence, he gets is a bridge being built, in his name. Right now, I believe the Red Wings are in fourth place. And they're in the playoffs. They damn self, don't quote me on that, but I do believe they're in the fourth place. And right now, they also have Steve Yzerman. Steve Yzerman is the general manager. Hired their manager. I'm not familiar with their manager. Right off hand, I'm not too familiar with hockey like that, but I do remember them days of Steve Yzerman, Bob Probert, Draper, a few players like that. Don't know too many of them. I forget the one goalie they had that was a beast. Scotty Bowman was their manager at one time, a coach. I'm not sure what they call in hockey, but the Red Wings used to be, was the best when you talk about hockey. Red Wings used to be the best, and they fell off for a minute, but they coming back. They in fourth place right now. Detroit Tigers, hadn't been too good since I guess like 2014. I think they went to the World Series in 2014 or 2016. I can't remember, but since then they haven't been nothing to write home to mama about. But right now, last season, shit, they made the playoffs. Came out of nowhere to make the playoffs. The season before last, you would have never even thought that they were even in contention to make the playoff with the roster that they had, with the salary that they had. There was players on other teams that one player made the whole salary of the Detroit Tigers. And the Detroit Tigers made it to the ALDS, and then not only did they make it to the ALDS, they also had a pitcher, win the Cy Young Award, Tariq Skubal. He won the Cy Young Award. I mean, shit, none of the experts would predicted him to win the Cy Young. None of those experts on ESPN, Baseball Tonight, any professional, they never saw this coming. Just last season, you wouldn't have thought that the Pistons are making a run right now. I think the Pistons are in sixth place right now. We even had the Pistons had an all-star this year in Kay Cunningham. And last season, after they had the worst season ever, I think they probably had the worst season of any franchise in the NBA. If not in the recent NBA, they definitely had the worst record ever in the last 20 years, 30 years in the NBA. And we ain't gonna talk about how the Lions used to be just horrible. The Lions used to be the laughing stock of the NFL. Used to be the whooping child of every nighttime show. From Jay Leno, shit, Saturday Night Live. If it had anything to do with losing, Detroit Lions was on the butt end of every damn joke at one time. And it was so bad to where there was the laughing stock when they hired Dan Campbell, and he said I was gonna bite off some kneecaps, gonna take another chunk. You have to knock me back down. We're gonna take you out to the ocean, and we're gonna do everything possible to drown your ass, to beat your ass. We'll play when Dan Campbell said we'll play on a sand lot, we'll play on concrete, we'll play somebody with three toes and one ass cheek and still beat your ass. Everybody laughed at him. Everybody laughed at him. But the one thing these four teams have in common, they all have a will. They all have a heart. They all have a bond with each other that nobody else outside of them locker rooms, them stadiums, really believe in. So when we wear them shirts that say Detroit versus everybody, we really mean Detroit versus everybody. Nobody had any confidence, any faith, anything in Detroit but to laugh at us for years on top of years on top of years on top of years. Now you look at it, Steve Eisman, general manager for the Red Wings. I'm not too familiar with their head coach. I don't follow hockey like that to know who their head coach is like that, but I do remember Steve Eisenman because, with Steve Eisenman back in the day, Bob Probert back in the day, Draper back in the day. I know I'm leaving out a bunch of great hockey players. But I just don't follow hockey like that. Can't measure Hart. The Pistons last year, nobody's seen this coming from last year. They had to go off of what they did last year. Shit, it ain't no way in the world they'll be in sixth place right now and in the East and be in a playoff spot and not somewhere either out the playoffs or trying to do a play in. And everybody had the Pistons counted out, but them. Baseball. The Tigers. Having been really relevant since I think 2013, 2014, maybe 15. They went to the World Series in 2006, I think 2012 or 2014, but they haven't been relevant since the last time they went to the World Series. And they just been bottom dwellers for the longest. But the one thing all these teams have and all these players on these teams have in Detroit is heart. You can't measure heart. You can't measure dedication. You can't measure a bond, a locker room full of guys, players, coaches, front office. You can't measure the heart of people. That's what you can't measure. There's no statistics, there's no analyst, there's no anything that when it comes to measuring your heart. When you determine to do something and you want to do it, you're going to do it. The Pistons right now is a prime example of that. The Red Wings right now is a prime example of that. The Lions is a prime example of that. Starting 3-4 years ago when they could barely win a game and they thought we made a mistake by hiring Dan Campbell. Which that would end up being a lie. Shit, we got expectations now out the world. Not just us, but then now you get these so-called experts that get that have predictions. Lions going to the Super Bowl every week. I'll get up. Every week I will watch. First Take. You got Stephen A. Smith. Lions going to the Super Bowl. You got all these Lions going to the Super Bowl. Lions going to the Super Bowl. Before we finished 9-7 with Caldwell, we finished. Go all defeated one year. Ain't nobody never thought about us being in that situation, but in baseball, it's baseball as well. AJ Hinch comes in and changes that culture of the Tigers. You only take one person to make a change. You take one person to make a change for everybody else to want to change. And that's damn. You look at the Pistons head coach, JB Beckerstaff, he came into shit. What the fuck did I come into? I mean, damn. But he made the best of what he came into, made his own little adjustments, made his own little moves with players to bring certain players in. And you look at Malik Beasley. Nobody's never thought Malik Beasley would be what he's doing right now. He might mess around and be sixth man of the year. Shit, JB Beckerstaff may mess around and be coach of the year. He already had Cade Cunningham as an all-star. I mean, shit, the future is bright for Detroit sports. That Spirit of Detroit statue gonna wear all 4 jerseys throughout the whole fucking season because all 4 teams gonna mess around and be in the playoffs at the same motherfucking time. Damn near. I mean, I know. I mean, don't give me. I mean, shit. I'm just excited. I know all 4 won't be wearing the jersey at the same time because it don't happen that way because the way sports overlaps and don't overlap and stuff like that. But that statue is gonna be clothed all year long. I know that much. In the wintertime, well, in the summertime with basketball and hockey, shit, making the playoffs there, shit. And then you look at football from the fall to the winter. Then you look at baseball all summer long until October, the hunt of October. I mean, that Spirit Detroit statue gonna have clothes on all year round. Shit, that's a hell of a jersey bill right there. But I mean, we ain't the laughing stock of the sports no more. That we not the laughing stock, and that right there is the deal with deal. I appreciate everybody for showing up for the deal with deal. If anybody has any other suggestions, any other ideas, anything they want me to talk about, and if I can touch on it, I definitely will touch on it. But so just hit the likes, hit the subscribes, and make your comments. I may not have been 100%. It may have been some things I missed out. Let me know what I missed out on. And if you agree with what I say, hey, make a comment that you agree. If you disagree with what I said, hey, put a comment in there and tell me why you disagreed or what I did wrong or something. I don't know, but I do know this. Detroit sports is coming back up. Detroit is now City of Champions. We're out here winning. We're making it happen. When you go on I-75, pretty soon it's gonna go from the Pistons 2004 championship painting to maybe a Detroit Lions Super Bowl, or maybe a puck from the Detroit Red Wings or something, or maybe even a painting of a baseball on one of them on one of them paintings on the refinery, of a baseball. Hey, cheers to Detroit, and thank everybody for tuning in for another episode of What's the Deal with Deal.